Hello, this is Dreams with Jam. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be talking about maximizing space throughout the valley. I understand that we're getting the floating island soon, but I wanted to put this design out there. We obviously have quite a while before that is all implemented. So I wanted to show how you can maximize space in the valley and get as many villagers as you can. If you like this video, please give me a like at the end. I'd really appreciate that. And better yet, you could also subscribe and then you get notified when there's more content. And there are some really cool projects coming your way soon. So let's get dreaming. Okay, so here in the plaza, we have overall 4 houses, 2 house skins, and then 3 commercial buildings. So down on this main drag here, along with the V8 Cafe you see here at the end, we have Remy's house, we have the restaurant, Scrooge's, Daisy, the college, and the apartment building, along with a gazebo kind of connecting spaces. Around the corner here, we have another little gazebo area and Oswald, kind of a movie house look to it with the Timon sign and the water tower in the back and the confectionery. We have Woody and this little carnival kind of area. Again, I can't necessarily create an entire amusement park with the space that we have right now, but I wanted to show that you can do at least some of it. You know, you could switch rides out or, do a rotation for yourself or pick the ones that are favorites to you. We're not sacrificing design here in any of the builds. We're showing that we can maximize but still keep some design. So down in the meadow, we actually have 7 villagers, 5 house skins, and 1 kind of commercial building. And that's the firehouse. Back in the corner, I kind of, not roped off, but fenced off an area for Mickey, Goofy, and Minnie, and Goofy's little farm and stall here. We have Figaro's house, and just kind of showing that you can make like a little courtyard for them to use. Here we have Belle's family home here in the corner, and along with the village, kind of the aesthetic that matches that. We have the flower cottage, Gaston, and then the leafy cottage. So all of those kind of put together aesthetically kind of work. And you'll see bushes and trees dotted along. I can't necessarily have room to create a whole farm or orchard. Here's Wally with the apple trees. We don't have room to necessarily create an orchard, but they do work up against buildings or dotted here and there. Or this villager has this bush in front of their house. Yes, it makes the fact that you have to walk around and hunt, but it's not horrible. Here we have the Snuggly Duckling, the firehouse you saw back there, and then here's Al's Toy Barn, and I made it like a little farm stand outside, put the pretzel thing right in the driveway, kind of think if they were having a grand opening per se. You have vendors that show up, right? And here we have Daisy and Donald here in the back, or front, depending on perspective, I guess. Okay, so you can see there's room to switch things out for each holiday or season. I can't believe we're going to be removing pumpkins and stuff already and going into the holiday season of Christmas or winter. Okay, going down into the glade. The glade has 2 villager houses. I count Mother Gothel, so 2. It's Tiana and Mother Gothel, and then there's 3 house skins. But along with that, we have this big train station area, which I added because I really, really like the pieces that we got to make a train station. It's one of my favorites, so I wanted to include that in here. And I tucked away the car back here to make it look like it just pulled up to the station. Couple train cars. And then back in here, I put the 3 stalls. So we have Mulan, Tiana, and Goofy back in the train station area, thinking, again, like vendors at a train station, using 3 of the park entrance buildings to build out that kind of central courtyard area. And then crossing over, here's where I put Tiana and Lady and the Tramp house, with the gazebo in between. Again, not gigantic yards or anything, but designed well, very pretty, very practical, and I can still get behind them, etc. Here's the French bakery along with Tiana's restaurant with a courtyard in between them. And then kind of transitioning into kind of your bayou area of New Orleans versus the city. So we have a shipwreck near the water here, along with this bayou house in the water itself. And then I used the Lost and Found building and the Jungle Boat cruise in the water there. Now, I did leave room here. You'll see that there's a blank spot because I do know that we should be getting another New Orleans house soon. I don't want to talk too much about it for those who don't like spoilers, but that's what that empty area is for. Okay, so let's head down to the beach. Now, the beach has, if you can believe it, it has 6 villager houses and 6 house skins. So here we have the Corona Castle and its fountain, surrounded by the banana trees. Ariel, which is, you'll see her in all my videos because that's probably one of my favorite builds and she'll be there forever. Here's Goofy. And then we're going to cross the bridge past the well and vacuum here. You'll see Eric's castle and his ship. So again, not a huge entrance to his castle or overly decorated, but it looks really nice. It's practical. It's my aesthetic. I like it. But you can do whatever you want, obviously, in your village and kind of decorate things up a little bit more. But, with the item limit, it's kind of where I left it there. Okay, so here's Moana, and then behind Moana, you'll see the peaking of Maui out by Skull Rock. And then we transition past this area. We have Stitch. And up ahead, the beach house along with the beach cafe, I guess you could call it. Here's Mini Casita. And then we have the seaside village along with the jungle house, which fit perfectly back there. And then out back, we have a little vignette, to make it look like a beach kind of area with the lifeguard tower. Again, I'm trying not to sacrifice design. I'm trying to use a ton of different items and create different areas. Okay, so here we transition to the forest. The forest has 3 villager houses, 9 house skins, and 1 commercial building, which is right here. We have the Beast's Flower Cottage, or Flower House. Beauty and the Beast Castle. And then we walk through the gazebo to transition here, and we can see we have the Pink Castle here before you go up into the Frosted Heights. Excuse me. And then we have Rapunzel with her art table and kind of an area that makes it look like, where she would do her painting. Okay, so then this central area that kind of connects everything together is a magical area. It has Merlin in it for one. I use the Dreamlight fruit trees and then the portal. So when you pop out to visit me, this is where you pop out. Okay. I use the park entrance to, again, create a separate section. So this area of the forest is much more run down, abandoned, and a little bit on the spooky side, I guess. Here's the library, the Purple Cottage, and then the Haunted Mansion. Again, not necessarily a huge build. I didn't put, a ton of decor in here. I wanted it to look a little overgrown, a little sparse. just some barrels, pumpkins, grass, natural items. But you can see the cauldron there. There's like a piano up against the house with grass growing out of it. And I used candelabras instead of the electrical light. I always find the villagers reading the books there, which is always great. I always try to see who's hanging and reading at the library together. Okay, so let's transition into our kind of fairyland. Here's Tinkerbell's house. I used her house as the entrance. And then this is the new fall cottage, or autumn cottage, I think it's called. And then we have the mushroom house. And then heading to the back, I used an archway to delineate between the two spaces just to make it look like you were definitely going into somewhere different. In the center, I used just one of the Dreamlight trees with the clock and a little bench just to make a central area. Here's that falling leaf cottage we just got recently, and then the flower cottage. And heading back up into the Frosted Heights from this back entrance, you can see there's a little kind of spell casting area or potion making. Here's Elsa's entrance. I tried to give her her own entrance because we all know she needs her own house and not a cave, but I tried to make it look like she was decorated for Halloween. Okay, so up into the Frosted Heights, we have 3 villager houses and 4 house skins. We obviously have Anna, Kristoff, and Olaf right there, but there's the kind of Cinderella castle. Here's the Frosted Palace, Winter Palace, the stones, the element stones. Okay, here's the fortress. I tried to make this kind of area look a little futuristic because in the fortress there I have like a Star Trek build. So I put Eve next to here, tried to make it look a little bit more on the supernatural side. And then here's our big campsite. So we have the cabin and Buzz, and then ice fishing, along with our little Frosted family back there with their igloo. And the fire pit. So just a big campsite. And then we have Kristoff and Goofy stalls along with the well and vacuum. So this area I think it turned out great. I love the campsite. It's one of my favorites. Okay, into the Sunlit Plaza or Plateau here. We have 3 villager houses and 7 house skins. So I moved my Asia build on this side of the Sunlit Plateau. Here we have Mulan and then the 3 main Asian buildings that we got. There's the tent and kind of some things for the training. But, could I create a whole training site? No, there's not room for that. But I was able to get one of them in, possibly even 2. I could, those other tents are pretty small. And then you just saw we have like a little temple area between the 2 buildings. There are 3 exits and entrances into this Asia build, which worked out great for fishing or for grabbing coins, or, I didn't want to completely block it off because then it would make it a pain to kind of pick up things as they ran all over the place. Here's our well and vacuum area. Okay, so then transitioning over, we're going to go into much more of like a savannah feel. With the Desert Palace, a couple of camels. The flora and fauna over here is going to be on that kind of savannah style. Here's Goofy stall and a work table and the cookers. I just have 2 cookers, I didn't necessarily need more than that. Again, sprinkling the trees and bushes throughout the build helps keep the space and design flowing without having to create a whole orchard. Here's Pride Rock along with Nala's waterfall. And then transitioning kind of into more browns and greens of a desert area with the cafe here. And there's those Savannah or Lion King benches. They work great back here because they're thin and they don't have a giant profile. So you can place them, they are smaller than the other like wooden benches, for example. Okay, we're going to head back to what we call Scar's area, right? It's where we first met Scar. But what I did was I extended it out, and it's kind of part of my Forgotten Lands now. So I created it a little bit bigger. And I did that by using fencing, trees, and the archway that you'll see right here. And it creates its own entrance into this kind of deeper colors, etc. And this is my witch's village. So we have Lady Tremaine's house and the two witches' cottage. And behind here, even a little teeny area for potion making and spells. Just being able to utilize those items and see them. Okay, so we go up into the Forgotten Lands. In the Forgotten Lands, we have 2 villagers and 3 house skins. Here's the fairy godmother, and I used, kind of orange lights around her area, highlighting her pumpkins. And then we transition into the purple, a little bit creepier. Okay, and here is the Nightmare Castle, which is the Cult of the Snake. And then here we have the holiday version of the Haunted Mansion. And Goofy at the end of the walkway here with his own little vegetable stand. Okay, and then here's the second skin of the witch's cottage that I'm actually using as my house back up in the witch's village. Rounding the corner is the well end vacuum. Okay, and then we're going to transition into green. And in the green area, we have Jack and our graveyard. And that's pretty much the build. We have 37 villagers in the valley total. The only 3 that are not in the valley right now are Ursula, Scar, and Vanellope. They are all on Eternity Isle for now. Scar's house is just ginormous, and I just don't have room for it because I would prefer to have the other buildings right now, the way I have it set up. Ursula and Vanellope, I am just not sure what to do with them, to be fair. But yeah, I hope you learned how to maybe maximize some space in your own villages. I had a really fun time doing this build. I hope you enjoyed it. Please give me a like at the end of this video if you did, and we'll see you next time. Keep on dreaming.